user experience is again very subjective when we put the focus on users, because I can feel a product is very smooth, whereas you can think that, okay, wait, they still have some challenges to solve for. But we're also talking about how experience design is connecting to a business outcome, is connecting to a certain metric, whether it's the willingness to pay or the recurring revenue. So and I think UX is balancing the fact that it's subjective and also the fact that it can translate to some tangible outcome in terms of connecting with the business goals, right? So are there like other metrics or data that you have seen across in your experience as how to map UX with some of what these brands have done with their metrics? And of course, even the map that you just drew in terms of mapping the emotions can also in turn relate to numbers, right? So do you have such examples to share?
Yeah. So the place you have to start when you quantify user experience is you have to start with the experience part. To start by uh, thinking in terms of what does it mean to improve someone's life. So the best metrics are going to be around those improvements. They're not going to be proxy metrics like, do they click on things or engagement or conversions? Those aren't real metrics of
Mm,
an experience. The experience has to do with, if I'm trying to ship my produce, does my produce get to where it needs to go fresh enough that the customers on the other side are happy to buy it, and then that the retailers want to order more, and that I can then deliver more produce through the system and I can keep my business growing. So we need to really get down to that experience level and understand, right? If I go back to the chart that I had about
mm,
the experience of the shipper, the real question is when that I want to measure is the moment I get this process to actually meet this point,
yeah.
right? And so that's success for me. And so I can look at creating metrics around this idea of success. And then
Mm,
I can also then start to look at metrics around progress. I first
right.
got it here, I got it there, and then I got it there, right? And I can look at saying, this is the progress I'm making. And I can also look at the cost of frustration because if this is frustrating, so let's say as someone who's shipping produce, what
Mm,
I'm finding is that half my shipments are spoiled before they get to their destination so
mm,
that I have to ship twice as much stuff to be able to get product to sell to the retailer. Well, now I can calculate the cost of that frustration, which is, half my cost of the product.
mm,
And if I can reduce that down to a quarter and then an eighth and then, a 16th of cost because I'm
yeah.
making the process better. Now, the more that gets down to zero, the, the, the better off my design is. So all of these things are metrics, but there is no specific UX
Mm,
metric. There is no one thing that makes the user experience better because there is no everybody's experience is different.
it's different. Yeah.
So we have to look at the experience. If the experience of the person who's trying to ship produce across the country is a certain way, we can look at what makes them frustrated and we can get to a point where that frustration is minimized and
Mm,
we can calculate metrics based on all of that. And that will translate into more people buying from me, more revenue going up. All of that will happen because I've delivered a better experience.